the reason why I am so impressed, and I believe that the clock is ticking, and I have a renewed sense of urgency. I want you to listen to this. I want you to listen to this news story. I'm going to read it verbatim, and I want to see if any of this sounds familiar. Citigroup says gold could rise over $2,000 next year as the world unravels. Again, Citigroup says gold could rise over $2,000 next year as the world unravels. Gold is poised for a dramatic surge and the blast through $2,000 an ounce by the end of next year as central banks, listen carefully, as central banks flood the world's monetary system with liquidity. This is according to an internal client note from U.S. bank Citigroup. The bank said that the damage caused by the financial excesses of the last 25 years was forcing the world's authorities to take steps that they have never tried before. This gamble was likely to end in one of two extreme ways, with either a resurgence of inflation, and trust me, gang, trust me, they're not talking about regular inflation, or a downward spiral into depression, civil disorder, and possibly wars. Both outcomes will cause a rush for gold. Quote, "They are throwing the kitchen sink at this," said Tom Fitzpatrick, the bank's chief technical strategist. Quote, "The world is not going back to normal after the magnitude of what they have done. When the dust settles on this, the world will see that it will either work and the money they have pushed into the system will feed through an inflation shock, or it will not work because too much damage has already been done and we will see continued financial deterioration causing further economic deterioration and the risk of a feedback loop. We don't think that this is the more likely outcome. I do. But each week as it passes and each month passes, there is a growing danger of a vicious circle as confidence erodes. This will lead," I'm still quoting from Citigroup, "this will lead to political instability. We are already seeing countries on the periphery of Europe under severe stress. Some leaders," remember, Citigroup is talking about the crazy edges of Europe. But see if any of this sounds familiar. "Some leaders are now at record levels of unpopularity. There is a risk of domestic unrest, starting with strikes, because people are feeling disenfranchised," end quote. "May the heavens open up and sing praises, hallelujah. Finally, someone with some credibility is talking about disenfranchisement." Quote, "What happens if there is a meltdown in a country like Pakistan, which is a nuclear power? People react when they have their backs against the wall. We're already seeing doubts," listen to this, "we are already seeing doubts emerge about the sovereign debts of developed AAA-rated countries, which is not something you can ignore. So you know, developed AAA-rated countries are countries like America." Gold traders are paying close attention to reports from Beijing that China is thinking of boosting its gold reserves from 600 tons to near 4,000 tons in a way to diversify away from paper currencies. What does that mean? Whose paper do they hold? Ours. They hold our currencies. If they are talking about going from 600 tons of gold to near 4,000 tons of gold, they need to sell their currencies and their treasuries. What does that do to the American dollar? Oh, no one will ever do that because they need us. Everyone is in survival mode. Mr. Fitzpatrick said Britain had made a mistake selling off half its gold at the bottom of the market between 1999 and 2002. People have started to question the value of government debt, end quote. Meanwhile, our leaders are saying, pay no attention to debt. Meanwhile, the Fed, which, unbeknownst, unfortunately, to a lot of people, the ones who hold our treasury notes, the ones who it's backed by the Fed, that is a treasury note, a promise, the Fed will not release any information on how much gold it holds. The Fed won't allow any accounting on what they actually have. Citigroup said the blast-off was likely to occur within 2 years and possibly as soon as 2009. Gold was trading yesterday at $812 an ounce. It is well off the all-time peak of $1,030 in February, but it has held up much better than other commodities over the last few months, reverting to its historic role as a safe haven store of value and a de facto currency. Gold has tripled over the last 3 years in value, vastly outperforming Wall Street and European, it says bonuses here, but it can't be bonuses, stocks. Okay, look, here's the thing. Does this sound familiar? Have you heard this maybe a year ago from anybody? This is a huge, huge development. This is Citigroup saying this. And when somebody like Citigroup says this, it causes a shock to the system. It causes a shock to the market. So hear me clearly. They are not telling you the full truth, just like the president won't tell you the full truth, because they know what it means if they panic. They know what it means if they say something that causes people to panic. This is the next level in getting people prepared for what's coming. Let me go through this piece by piece. Gold could blast through $2,000 an ounce by the end of next year. It is going to blow through. You mark that down, Stu. If we're still on the radio in 12 months, it will go through $2,000 an ounce. The bank says it's caused by the financial excesses of the last 25 years. That is true. The gamble is going to end in one of two extreme ways. Either with a resurgence of inflation. They're not talking about inflation. Study the Weimar Republic. They are talking about hyperinflation. You cannot inflate the world's money supply to the point that we have. They are lying to you. They are trying to take this down. Let's look at them in the best possible light. They are trying to take this system down as slowly as they can so you can prepare. But I'm telling you, you're running out of time to prepare. You must prepare your household. You must prepare your children. You must do logical, well thought out things to be able to prepare your family. And please do not do them in a panic fashion.